next panel up, we have strategic insights on trading strategies presented by Bybit, the crypto derivative exchange. We have moderator Charles Yang, head trader of Genesis Block. Please welcome Charles Yang. And we have speaker Ben Zhou, co-founder of Bybit.com, Tony Vays, derivatives trader, blockchain consultant, and Spunky Hwang, founder of Bitgosu YouTube channel, and Nocholas Merten, founder of DataDash. Please welcome our panelist moderator.
All right, very happy to be here. Nice to see a good crowd despite being the last day of the conference. Why don't we just jump right in? We can start introducing ourselves. Ben, why don't you go first?
Yeah. Hello. My name is Ben. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Bybit. We are a crypto derivative exchange. My background is Forex industry. I did 8 years of running a broker, actually quite successfully. I was in charge mostly on business operation and development. So back in the days, I thought I faced a lot of regulation and challenges on a day-to-day basis. But once I switched to crypto about 2 years ago, it's a completely new game. So what we find is much more challenges here, and but that's what makes it exciting. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Tony?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tony Vays. I come from the traditional Wall Street environment as well. Was there from early 2007 through Bear Stearns collapse. I was actually at Bear Stearns. Through JP Morgan, a couple of other companies. Lots of trading experience. I got into the whole Bitcoin for non-trading aspects, but my experience as a trader has led to my YouTube channel, which mostly focuses on educating people how to be traders.
My name is Nocholas Merten. I run the channel DataDash. We have around 313,000 subscribers, and we generally do a macro analysis of crypto markets, so not only diving into the price action side of things, but also news and events and providing some dialogue as to how to interpret those events. Outside of that as well, covering emerging technologies in the space and pushing cryptocurrencies forward, predominantly in the aspect of money.
Hi, my name is Spunky from Korea. I've been an entrepreneur for around 15 years now in lots of different industries, mostly in the IT industries. And I got into Bitcoin because in my previous projects, we were looking for global payment solutions. So we were always looking for a better solution, and we just ran into crypto. And it turned out to be like the most amazing solution that exists today. And currently, I run one of the biggest crypto YouTube channels in Korea. And I'm also running Bitgosu, which is the biggest marketing acceleration provider for crypto products.
Right, thanks guys. So hopefully some of you recognize these faces. I'm personally a big fan of Tony and Nick myself. Spunky, obviously, you go to Korea, I'm sure people stop you on the street sometimes, right? Yeah. So it's a new year, 2019. Crypto changes. Every 1 to 2 months, the markets feel very different. Why don't you guys just share a little bit on what you're seeing in the first quarter and anything kind of new trends emerging in the markets? Tony, how about you?
So what I'm seeing from the first quarter is a lot of frustration from people that have decided to trade crypto or hold crypto. We've now seen a huge rise in prices, followed by big drops. And over the last 48 hours, another big rise up. This is leading to a lot of complaints that everything is being manipulated. And what I'm seeing from the first quarter is a lot of frustrated traders trying to blame everyone but themselves as to their inability to trade this market. And sometimes the best trade is no trade at all. And that's what I also try to teach people.
Ben, anything to share?
Yeah, I mean, I can offer from a exchange perspective. I mean, I joined the arena about 2 years ago, and it's just the way things change are amazing. I mean, it's so fast. I remember when I first joined it about 2 years ago, it was the fiat to coin exchange taking the center stage. It was OKCoin, Huobi, all these guys. And then all of a sudden, the China ban, and then you start to see new guys coming, taking the stage, like Binance, coin-to-coin exchanges. And all these exchanges, especially with all the ICO and token offerings, you start to see a lot of spot exchanges emerging last year. But especially with the downtrend right now, well, dramatically, and you see the markets push out a lot of competitions and spot exchanges. When we started the project in Bybit, that was last year, April, really we only see BitMax and OKEX as the derivative exchange players. But now we start to see many numbers of new competitions. But I believe it's a good thing. The market definitely needs more competitions to solve the market inefficiency and all that. But I believe in order to be successful in this arena, is just get ready for change and embrace the change. Yeah.
Is there anything that, we're just talking about manipulation a little bit. As an exchange, is there something that you need to do? Surveillance or any of these policies?
Yeah, I mean, we do put a lot more focus on that, which is one of the first reasons we choose perpetual swap. It's one of the, we believe, quite a game changer. In the past, I mean, that's why I said again with changes. Before it was OKEX offering all these regular futures products, but once the perpetual swap comes out and you see all these new exchanges offering the same product because it's more proven to for market manipulations. But from my own perspective, I believe with younger market, manipulation always happens. But with more players coming in, it's up to every one of us to solve this issue. Yeah.
Do you have a view on this? Like before you started this exchange?
Well, I'm not really a seasoned trader, so they have much more to say than me. But I do talk to a fair bit of number of traders, and most of them seems to prefer technical analysis. And the overall advice I got was have a strategy and stick to it, and rather don't let your emotion control yourself. And that's it,
Yeah, always good advice. Just talking about platforms a little bit, I mean, we have, if you're trading, you can speculate using futures, a lot of different tools out there now, a lot of different platforms. What do you guys do personally? Do you guys prefer spot or just standard spot with physical delivery? Nick, why don't you comment first?
Yeah, I've always used just standard spot exchanges. There's a really good, interesting philosophy as to why I push forward the idea of swing trading. Of course, I can't advise anyone to do anything specifically, but the reason why I recommend spot trading is that you can not only do much better just trying to trade the longer term cycles, or at least the average person will do much better just trying to trade long-term cycles, buying when prices have started to bottom for a multi-month basis, and then selling towards peak rallies where things are moving exponential. But along with that, you don't subject yourself to the possibility of getting out-traded by the same people Tone was talking about, people who are much smarter, much more dedicated in this market, who are going to pinch pennies off of you. And one step at a time will be able to slowly weave you out of the market. I think it's the best thing for an average person to do in that case, especially if they can't put the time and dedication to really use a variety of different complex indicators to understand TA, which takes a lot of time. It's a very low percentage of success.
So I totally agree with you. Queries regarding perpetual swaps, which allows you to long and short the market, you can take a view. The demand of that, I think it grew a lot right around the time when ICOs started to get really quiet. And I think that's exactly what happened, where people are used to getting these massive returns, and now they just don't have different options. So they look towards leverage. But what is the leverage provided from?
100%.
100x.
Yeah.
Right. Have you guys ever traded 100x?
Oh, I've done that many times.
Well, actually, on the client side, most people use around 5. So
5x,
100 is more of a marketing sort of gimmick, and most very small players use that.
Sure.
Koreans, it's basically 20 plus. Under that, there's no point of doing it.
I prefer 5x on average. I have traded 20x. We were talking about exchanges. I'm famously banned from several exchanges. BitMax being one of them. But yeah, so I like my anonymity, and I still, there's so many things like, I trust Bitcoin, the code, but I don't trust anything else in the crypto space. I don't trust governments when it comes to understanding Bitcoin. I don't trust governments when it comes to the future of Bitcoin. And I try to, as public as I am about my life in crypto and Bitcoin, I have done everything in my power to remove my connection, my digital fingerprint between my government identity and my use of the crypto space. To the point where I would not KYC myself on any exchange as a crypto trader. So, but that's me. That's not the normal person, right? That's just my fear of the history of economics, and I think that Bitcoin scares governments. I was just in India where Bitcoin is illegal. I've been to other countries where Bitcoin's illegal, and I don't know where it's headed. And because I don't know where it's headed, I don't want a digital print on it. But I am all for Bitcoin. Having said that, I do have the ability to trade Bitcoin in my traditional retirement account, brokerage through GBTC. Now, I think GBTC is the worst comprised and created quasi ETF there can be, but it's the only one we have.
Talking about Grayscale?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So Grayscale's Bitcoin, the GBTC ticker, you can trade it in your retirement account.
How's the premium these days?
How's the what?
How's the premium?
The premium's okay. It's hovering around 20%. You can actually arbitrage the premium, which I've done. But it's the only one we have. I mean, one day a real ETF is coming. I think it's coming a lot later than sooner. I think that will help trade it. Will it make it more Bitcoin price more stable? Who knows? I think there are dangers with it. I mean, Bitcoin security is incredibly hard. There are so many challenges there. And if you are going to trade crypto, just be careful.
So for Bybit's case, with leverage, you need to have some sort of insurance fund. Is that correct?
Yes.
Clawbacks, what are kind of like the correct policies that you think should be for these exchanges?
In terms of exchange, I've heard some, many people don't have faith, especially in new exchanges. Well, that's one of the questions we ask ourselves. What do people really need, and what does trader really want from an exchange? I believe the fundamental is really the execution. To match orders, it's very simple. Sounds very simple, but actually quite hard to do based on the current tech and all that. We believe that when we started, we want to build exchange with no overload, no order rejections. And so that's why our technical partner is from Morgan Stanley. We built our matching engine, top of the line tech. And that's why we believe our current matching engine is one of the top tiers in the industry. And secondly, most important thing is really listen to your clients' feedback and response. That's why we have a 24-hour customer support live, so that whenever a client have an issue, we respond immediately. And actually, I get on Twitter and respond and talk to our clients and get feedbacks. And all of our recent updates has been responding to clients, and we took very great pride in that. And lastly, it's expect the change. I mean, I said it before, people in crypto are really community believers, and we want to grow with the community as things change. Perpetual swap was a big game changer, but I believe the next one will be coming up soon, and it's only going to be good for the ones that are ready. So that's our
So hopefully Bybit will be one of the good guys. For Bybit, is there an insurance policy just for the storage of the crypto assets? Is that actually possible to obtain?
Yeah, when it comes to security, I mean, right now we have multi-signature cold wallet, and that's the most secure way to do it. But when you do that, you lost the efficiency, so that we cannot process clients' withdrawal immediately like spot exchanges. But from our observation, the derivatives traders don't have really instant demand for the withdrawals. So we want to mix it up on the security part. And also our internal procedures. We work closely with Slow Mist, one of the most popular white hacker teams, to do code reviews and all that, to make sure that our funds are safe.
I see. Yeah. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say I go back to what I was talking about earlier about improving wallet technology. And on the exchange side, I have no doubt in the next major cycle, seeing as I think we've only reached our 1994 equivalent of crypto adoption, so we haven't even had our dot-com bubble yet. I think that what you're going to need is much better wallet infrastructure, much better exchange experiences with custodial solutions. And the third thing as well is some kind of driving catalyst that's actually going to push markets forward. What that's going to be outside of better interface and wallets, I don't know. I don't see an ETF coming.
So you think, I guess, for this year, all those factors you mentioned are probably not going to be the level you're hoping for?
I think that they're going to help start to carry markets. As we start to bottom, you tend to find that the projects that are still here are actually building real things,
Right.
which is nice. And I think you're going to get better experiences interacting with cryptocurrencies. But if we take a look at NVT signal and a lot of other indicators that actually track the actual value being transmitted over the network, we're still quite overvalued at the moment. And that's one of my biggest concerns. I don't see price going too much further down as we're in this kind of bottoming process towards 3,000. I think the biggest factor is that we're not seeing enough transactional volume until you make it easier to use Bitcoin.
I think it would be worth giving a description of, you just mentioned MVT. How do you, firstly, can you describe it and then talk about how you use it as a signal?
Yeah, so NVT, to put it in very simple terms, is basically taking the valuation of a given payment network, like Bitcoin, for example, and taking the amount of money that is traded on it over a daily basis. But there's NVT and there's NVT signal, which basically do a variety of different averages on it. Now, this indicator is really good. Historically, it's shown that when you reach towards a level, if I'm correct on this, around like 30, a 30 ratio, that's basically when markets are undervalued. And then once it goes above 100, or a level around there, you tend to find that markets are overvalued. Now, it's not a direct indicator, no indicators like that in crypto or in any market, but it's something you can use for the macro cycles, those big swings that we were discussing, to know, okay, we're getting in the next month or so of being overbought in this market, or perhaps we're towards a phase where we're starting to see a bottom in price, and we're starting to see a maturity where the market itself is not reaching a fair value, is now reaching a fair valuation.
Thanks, Nick. Spunky, any views for this year?
Everybody here is probably just wondering what we have to say about the market, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure, Tone, I mean, you get questions about where Bitcoin is going every single day, like a million times. I'm pretty sure you do too. I mean, everybody gets that same question, right? But honestly, I don't know. I have no clue. After, I think around the first quarter of last year, I stopped really looking at trying to analyze the charts or trying to guess where things are going to go, because I mean, it's just unpredictable. But one thing that worked for me was that when everyone else always said it's going to go lower, it just kind of rebounded there. So you guys being all bearish is actually a good sign for me. So I'll be kind of looking forward to that part.
Yeah, well, from a fundamental perspective, when people ask me when is a good time to buy Bitcoin, and my answer is, well, if you're going to hold it for over 5 years, the best time was yesterday. And if you ask me tomorrow, I'm going to say the same answer. The best time was yesterday, from a fundamental perspective. But if you're a trader, you got to try to time it, and it's not easy.
All right. So Ben, for you, I guess, what can we expect from Bybit? You know, I guess there's some new features coming out. Yeah. What do you have to share?
Yeah. First, from the market trend, this is what I heard from most people. They're pretty bearish still this year. But for us, as exchange, I believe it's a good time to build a solid product, build a solid team. It's actually it's cheaper to acquire very good talent at this time. So we stick to the fundamentals, build a good exchange, execute clients' orders, provide good customer support, get good liquidities, and all that. So doing the fundamentals. And so, sure, we are waiting for the next wave. And when the market reacts, we will act to it and provide more exciting features.
Yeah. So I think we're going to actually open the floor for maybe 1 or 2 questions. Please just raise your hand.
Or
yes, sir.
Better come on up and we'll give you the mic. Come on.
We'll give you the microphone.
So it seems the theme is that there'll be a lot more volume liquidity if we actually regulated these exchanges. So is Bybit going to try and push for regulation?
Sorry.
So the question was, you know, normally regulation is a driving factor for volume and liquidity. Does Bybit have any thoughts, you know, in driving the regulation?
Well, we will work with regulation. I don't think we have the power to drive the regulations. And definitely when the regulation comes, we're ready to embrace it. And just that's in our long-term vision and goals. So yeah.
Maybe you can talk about which markets you're talking to the most, which regions.
Right now, our target is mostly Asia, Korea, Japan, China, and then our headquarters in Singapore. So we've actually been talking quite a bit to the Singapore regulations, but it looks like they are still more focused on the spot exchange regulations. So we believe the first tier is always going to be the spot exchanges, and then derivative will be later. So it's still going to be pretty far away, I believe. But meanwhile, what could solve the problem of market inefficiency is simply competition. It will solve a lot of the problems. Yeah.
Thanks. Does anyone have a question?
I have a question.
Yeah, please, over here first.
So you spoke a lot about decentralization, and I think that in my purview, decentralization is really just a principle and a fundamental, but not necessarily a mandate for how successful blockchain companies operate. So I'm just curious, what would you see like the perfect harmony then? I mean, Tony, you spoke about it, between like decentralization as well as centralization, because I think that it has to be both components in harmony in order for them to be a successful blockchain company.
Well, to me, it's simple. If you're a company, you're centralized. That's it. The best you can hope for is to use a decentralized form of payment to help drive that company. So even if you're in the Bitcoin space, you're still a centralized company. So you can add Bitcoin into your centralized company and try to utilize the Bitcoin blockchain for at least an element of decentralization in the payment method. So a quick example, like not everyone in the world has Netflix or the ability to use Netflix because they're not all over the world, but they could be. All they have to do is pop up a QR code on your TV screen and you pay it from anywhere in the world. They don't have to worry about credit card fraud. They don't have to worry about currency fraud. And they can expand their business by using a decentralized currency like Bitcoin. Because that's the only thing that we actually have is decentralized and seems to be working. So anytime a company says they're decentralized in any aspect other than using Bitcoin as a payment method, I question it.
Any more comments from?
Yeah, so this question, so I just for Tony. Tony, I like your words. So, so fundamental algorithm about that. So do you guys know needs will make the stance of a quantum proof algorithm? It means that ECC will be gone in next 5 years. ECC will be gone. And nearly all the blockchains, cryptocurrencies, and coins are built on ECC. So I want to know about the quantum attack. Do you guys think Bitcoin price will be done forever? It will be done. Do you guys see?
I'm sorry.
Could you repeat? Could you shorten the question one more time?
I didn't understand the
So
question.
quantum computer will crack. All the public.
Quantum computers?
Yes, you're right.
That's not a concern. It's it needs to be better addressed. Like some of the smartest blockchain engineers, basically the biggest concern about quantum computers when it comes to Bitcoin is maybe in 15 to 20 years we'll start thinking about the concern. Like it's really, I think like Terminator AI taking over the world is more likely to be a problem. Like it's not really a concern. I mean those are very hard problems and it's not, no, it's just overblown fear.
So yeah, I think you can have further questions for the speakers off stage. Thank you all very much for listening and obviously participating as well. Yeah, we'll wrap it up right here.
Thank you.